when you have a winning product, the truth is, if you're looking at the universe of investors, all of them are going to be looking, they all want returns, right? So if you're doing something that is interesting, something that makes sense, something that's viable, it will attract money. So when you think that, oh, by just throwing money at marketing, that you would actually gain and make a successful, product out of something, then you're misleading.
Very interesting. Do we have a problem with the Nigeria's SMEs when it comes to product differentiation? Because I remember the pure water era, and everybody just closed down primary schools and whatever. Everybody's just turned their backyard and their sitting room and their kitchen into pure water business. Then suddenly it goes into the plastic bottle. Then everybody shut that down and go plastic. So do you think we have a problem here where everybody just want to make chin-chin or whatever, at the same time, but there's no product differentiation, trying to get a new market or new product for an existing market? Do you think SMEs in Nigeria have this peculiar problem such that at a point in time you have too many players in a very small consumptive part of the market, and before you know it is overcrowded and it's dying off?
Okay, it is a problem, but it's not peculiar. And the reason why I say it's not peculiar is because it's just the same issue we have with oil and gas. In a time of boom, everybody does the same thing. If it's working, everybody will move. Remember the days of cyber cafes. The first person set up, they're making money. Guess what? Everybody feels they can also set up cyber cafes. So it's the same thing. Pure water, everyone needed it, and everybody was successful. But when the economy begins to contract, when people start to see pressures on the cost side, then the game changes. You start talking about, okay, efficiency. And one of the ways to be efficient is to ensure that you're differentiated, that you have a unique selling point, because the market has not changed. Okay, so what are you going to do for that same market to just focus on your product? You have to differentiate. So it's not peculiar, but we're now at a time where people now have to think differentiation.
So I'm going to ask you a few specific questions because I'm sure millions of viewers here in Nigeria, many of them are looking up to you as a consultant to give them some free advice, as it were. So you did a bit of a pro bono here on channels this morning. So
that's fine.
A bit of a pro bono here this morning. A new year to start. Yeah, it's okay. Pay your dues and you have another 360 days to make money. But you can give some free advice. The economy is contracting. We're looking to the new year. Price of crude oil. We're looking at the budget. It looks big in Naira terms. Yes, thank you. But what do you think SME should do in 2017, looking at where government is spending, where the fiscal leanings will be?
Okay, so I started by saying that, we should think about two words, prudence and efficiency. Key, very key. If you even personalize it, when things are tough, you actually start to watch, the resources that you have. Similarly, the SMEs have to be very, very prudent. Now, the first thing I will say is that even as they think about their business, they need to be realistic about their organization's capacities. Most times we're very, very optimistic. We believe that we can do big things, and that's good. It's good to be positive. But you need to, at the end of the day, ensure that in order for you to differentiate, you're doing something that you're good at, that is your own core competence, that is your own strength. You need to be realistic. Kind of niche. Your niche. So you need to be realistic about your own capacities. I think that's the first thing I will say. The second thing I will say is that partnership is key. Yeah. Gone are the days where you just feel, oh, I'll do it all myself. You need to work with people that have complementary assets, complementary skills. I call them complementors. You need to work with complementors. The third thing is, especially for those that are, talking about agribusiness, I'm trying to, put out a caution there, because everybody's saying agribusiness, just go into agri. Everybody wants to become a farmer. But have you asked yourself one question? Are you good at farming? The fact that, somebody else, Mr. A, is making money at it, does not mean that you will make money at it. Second thing is, agribusiness is a business. So even if you find and you want to invest in a farmer, he can farm, yes. But does he know how to make that activity a business? So I'm telling people, be very careful, especially if you have limited resources, so that you're not going into a situation where you're unable to recoup your your funds, especially in a business that requires a lot of capital and a lot of resources.
You know what we call a bandwagon effect.
Exactly.
We should be very careful about bandwagon effect.
Right.
Where do you think they should be able to find money? I'm going back to money, because money answers all things, as he said, out there. So the banks, interest rate, currency, naira, dollar. Not a very good time to look at the currency board on a daily basis. So sometimes I try to close one eye and then just look at the rate and say, well, okay.
Okay, so I will not. So if I'm talking about sources of funds, I will look at banks as probably my last resort, just because of the rates. Yes. When you're already talking about a market where the inflation, from single digits were double, so almost 100% in 1 year from January to this for a year, it's risky for you to go and take a bank loan.
The bankers listening won't like you for that. But
well, I understand. I understand that. Yeah, but it's important for SMEs to know the kind of instrument that's good for their business. Getting funding from your friends and family. People say this sounds cliche, but realistically, yes. Challenge there is yes, family and friends. Challenge there is that at this time, people have become very savvy with investing. So when you tell them, oh, you want a loan, they say, I will give it to you, but it's not a loan I want to give you. I want ownership. I want to be part of
the game.
And that's okay. You need to understand that this is where you're at, and sometimes you need somebody to come in, and it's part of the partnership.
That you talk about. And I'm going to underscore the partnership thing. And I think across Africa, this is one major challenge. Folks, the trust deficit, and folks don't really want to. But you being a managing partner, I'm sure you know what partnership is all about.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Thank you.
This is what it is. Thank you very much for coming on the program. We appreciate your enlightenment today.
It's a pleasure.
Moye from CUC Consulting.